All right, so we are live. Welcome, one and all, to today's watch party of Jacob's Ladder. And with me today is Alex.
Hi, gang.
Wait. All right, welcome, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure as always. Pleasure as always.
And in the crowd, there might be a sync up issue. Mad Matt mentions that he's renting from a place that does not have the Studio Canal logo. So we might be off for a few seconds, but I think once the movie starts, we'll all get synced up to the same place. So it all has to do with, I guess, where the movie was released, what copy you have, the distribution rights. So, yeah, no worries. All right, well, why don't we just jump into it and then we will start our discussion. Alex, you want to do a countdown?
Alrighty, we're gonna go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. And I'm pausing my play a little bit myself because I paused it at the TriStar logo,
Yeah.
which
So
is
this
40 odd seconds in. So,
Yeah, and then we have all of these logos. So whatever copy you have, right now we do have the TriStar logo coming on. So
and then it's Carol Co. as Mad Matt was seeing.
yeah, um, yeah. This we were just talking about this behind the scenes there, Alex. This movie is about 35 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It's been around quite a while, and I know last week the chat, a lot of you piped up and you had never seen this before.
Yeah, this was new to
So
me too.
So let's go ahead. Shout out. Tell us how many times you've seen it, when the first time you've seen it, if you've seen it before, or if this is your first time. Um, this movie is a doozy. It works on. Yep, we see helicopters, Matt.
Yeah, it's about seven. It messes with your head in about 17 different ways.
Right. And we're about, on my copy anyway, we're about a minute and a half in.
Give
I
or take.
still
Yep.
haven't, okay, up there, I want to get the count up timer,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still working on it, guys. I'm still working on it. That way we'll all be synced up.
Well, it took the Creator VC crew a while to get that sorted too, so don't worry about it.
I know. And if you go back to, I think, Andrew and Dom's first
Mm-hmm.
watch
The
to,
early ones, yeah.
and it's just a world different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's do a roll call. And so, yeah, we have YouTube and Discord working today. So, Hellifino, James Hellier, Miss Swift, Calbot, Mad Matt. Let's see, old Johnny Devick. They're all in YouTube chat. Eric's in the chat. Edward the Black Prince. Let's see. Did I miss anybody?
No, I think that
Nope.
was
Got everybody in
everyone.
the YouTube. Okay. Mr. Furzel. Let's see. Calbot, Eric, Edward the Black Prince, Mad Matt. They're all in the Discord. All right.
We got both
So
going here.
we got both going, and we just got to kind of keep track of what everybody's saying.
Yeah,
So,
and I got to try to not. I'm here, not calling myself here. Not get distracted by the by the TV playing the movie about 2 feet from my head.
yep. And I've got my iPad playing the movie. I've got a monitor here, and then I've got Discord on another monitor. Um,
Oh,
so let's.
you've got all the screens going.
I've got so many screens. So, all right, let's see who's seen it. Okay, Eric has never seen this. Let's see, Miss Swift saw it after it hit cable the first time. Yep, made the rounds on cable and the rental. Oh, James Hellier, I've seen it and read The Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge and seen Carnival of Souls. Oh boy. Let's see, Mad Matt, first time I saw it was 2 hours ago. So, all right, second viewing, Matt. Let's see, Edward the Black Prince. I've only seen it once before in that because I know it was the inspiration for Silent Hill. Yeah. Let's see. Calbot, pretty sure I saw this on campus in college, maybe about a year after it came out. Didn't make much of an impression at the time. Saw it again just last year and was much more into it.
Yeah, this is one that I never saw, but then again, I was 7 when this came out, so I was not a target audience.
You would not have been able to get into the theater.
No.
Over on Discord, Mr. Furzel saw this once, taking a chance on it on Netflix back in the day. All right. Well,
Back
we
when
are
Netflix was
starting
trying to
off.
get their hands on everything, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess back in the day, this was on Netflix. They had a lot of content back then, and they've slowly been losing content over time. Man, so they just jump right into the action here. We see this this troop in Vietnam, and there's some crazy stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
For those of us who have seen this, it's so hard to talk about it and not give spoilers.
Yeah.
This movie really messes with your head. The first time you see it, if you don't know anything that's going on, it's just this weird mind trip.
Yeah. Because right now it's just a war movie.
Exactly. So we're back in Vietnam, and just some crazy shit's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Except for that one guy, he's just sitting just eerily still.
Well, that one guy is Tim Robbins. He just sat down.
So the guy, he's a famous actor. He's mesmerizing, just staring.
Oh, him. Yeah. Okay.
And he just seems unaffected. See, he's like looking into your soul.
Yeah.
Really,
and he's another one of those that guy actors. I'm trying to place him, but where I'm placing him, he's got about another 75 pounds on him in the last 15 years, from where I've seen him and stuff. Like, it might have been Sons of Anarchy, it might have been Dexter, it might have been 7 other things.
He was on House MD.
So was everyone back in the day.
So yes, everybody just seems to appear on those episodic TV shows.
Yeah.
Yes, Miss Swift Pruitt, Taylor Vince, that's his name.
Yes, him, yeah.
And this is an all-star cast that on more than one occasion you will be able to point at a guy and say, that's the guy. I know that guy.
Mm-hmm. It's like we'll see, it's that guy from ER. And
yes. So one of the
Danny Aiello, it's that guy from everything.
And it's so hard for me to play these movies with sound and then listen and pay attention. But I did my watch through last night with the volume, and in the jungle here, it's the cinematography with the audio track is just, there's something about it that is mesmerizing and hypnotic without being overly done. So all of a sudden here, we're cutting to him on the subway. And we have no frame of reference as to how we got here, but it will slowly unfold.
Well, I just took it to be that he's riding the subway and he's just dozed off and he's having a really bad memory.
And that's what we're led to believe. And this was some awful memory of him. Eric, so are they under friendly fire? It probably wouldn't be a spoiler to say no. I don't think that was a spoiler. I think we got hints of the enemy in the jungle around them if we hadn't seen them yet.
Ms. Swift, are you thinking of Yaphet Kotto or the other guy from The Running Man?
I think it was Yaphet. Yeah.
Was it Yaphet Kotto?
Yes, he was. Well, he was. This is Ving Rhames.
I was thinking. I thought I was like, is that Ving Rhames, the first guy that went shaky and nosebleed?
Yes, that was him before his Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Well, yes, yeah. Mr. Furzel notices the book he's reading. He's reading The Stranger. So at the time that this came out in the theaters, this was, I recall, a very, what I should say, divisive movie. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people didn't understand it or didn't care for it. The style. I think Tim Robbins was a known actor.
Because he done Bull Durham, so he'd been in stuff.
Yep, he was known at this time, but I don't think he had done anything like this.
No, not really. And then other stuff he did. He did Shawshank, and then he directed Dead Men Walking. I want to say.
Dead Man Walking, is that with Susan Sarandon?
Yeah.
Right.
His life partner, former life partner, whatever their relationship was. Yeah.
Yeah, it came out a year after. No, a couple years, 1990, 95. So it came out 5 years after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Shawshank was 4 years after this. So.
Yes.
Bull Durham was 2 or 3 years before.
Right. He had done quite a few things. And go ahead.
I'm just wondering if you have his IMDb up, was Tim Robbins in the 80s Twilight Zone?
Let's see. That's film, TV. Well, they're saying Amazing Stories.
Okay, it's kind of sort of the same thing, yeah.
Kind of the same thing, yeah. They both came out at about the same time. Yeah, and he did a lot of the episodic shows.
Yeah. Now, that's just something that just don't seem right. I'm just looking at, it's New York City, so wet and rain is coming from somewhere. But that seems like a rather loose electrical bulb, unless he's seeing something else at the time. But you don't walk across the subway track like that. That's just stupid. Unless I'm ahead of you guys, but.
Oh, no. We're right at the point where, the subway's now coming at him.
Yeah.
The scene plays out that it is that eerily creepy getting locked in a subway. Yeah. And this right here, he's getting passed by the subway.
And dude's waving at him.
There are monsters staring at him, which is, we don't know what's going on in his mind, if he's having these visions, if he's, of course, now that we understand about PTSD.
Yeah.
And a lot of what these soldiers came home to, and they experienced PTSD, we didn't talk about it back then.
Nope, they didn't talk about it 100 years ago when the guys came back from the First World War either.
Nope. So we are just, we're just seeing his life unfold and seeing how all of these pieces are fitting.
Mm-hmm. There's a pram in the hallway.
Or a buggy.
Well, pram, buggy.
As we call it. Yeah, same thing. Oh, James Hellier says Bruce Joel Rubin, the writer, also wrote Ghost. This film shares a pretty clear cosmology of the afterlife with that. Oh, I did not know that.
Interesting.
I did know that the director of this, Adrian Lyne, also went on to do Fatal Attraction.
Interesting.
So,
is that one that we'll do later this year, maybe? Because I don't think
you know, it is not on my list, but anything is doable. Fatal Attraction is one hella scary movie.
Yeah.
We could go off on that movie and discuss the layers of it, but it really is a man meets woman he shouldn't, and woman is crazy.
Yep.
Oh, he did Fatal Attraction first?
Oh, yes. Fatal Attraction was the 80s. Yeah.
Was it?
Right. Yeah.
I don't doubt it.
Because it was Fatal Attraction and Basic Instinct were around-ish the same time, but were
around-ish. Okay.
Like around-ish, like between 85 and 88 is what my brain is thinking.
Fatal Attraction came out in 87. Why was I thinking it was a 90s movie?
Because of Michael Douglas and Disclosure?
Because I don't think I saw Fatal Attraction in the theater. I think I saw it on cable or
probably
rental.
On TV. It made the rounds a lot on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's interesting. This movie is intertwining his, whatever you would call it, his visions, his nightmares, his recollections, into the story. So you wonder, is his life mimicking the horror, or his horror mimicking his life?
Yeah. And this seems like a much more, I'll say, normal-ish New York apartment compared to your average New York apartment of movies.
Yeah, where the ones that are costing thousands and thousands of dollars a month, and no one seems to work.
Yeah. It's like unless you had rent control in 1922, and
yeah,
good luck with that.
Okay, so James Hellier says all of Michael Douglas's other sleazy sexual thrillers were 90s movies. Oh, yeah, he did make the rounds.
Yeah.
Basic Instinct was 92.
It was that late? Okay. Yeah. And Disclosure was 94 or 5?
90. I want to say 97.
No, Disclosure must have been earlier than that. That was Demi Moore.
Demi Moore.
Yeah. Feels like it was earlier than 97, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. 94.
Okay. Yeah, because it was. Yeah, because she did. Oh God. A Few Good Men, Disclosure,
Indecent Proposal.
Indecent Proposal with Robert Redford, which is another interesting one that you could watch at some point.
And it was also directed by the same director, Adrian Lyne, I believe.
He did Indecent Proposal?
Yep. I want to say Indecent Proposal, and then okay, so Indecent Proposal came out in 93, Fatal Attraction in 87.
And the woman in that photo looks like a cross between a young Uma Thurman and one of the Redgraves.
Yeah, you could barely see her in that photo.
It's like, I can't place her, but she's familiar.
Yeah, she, Patricia Kellenberger, I believe, who went on to, I think she starred in the show Sisters. She was also in the M. Night Shyamalan movie Signs.
As the dead mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was in, I think, a couple scenes in that movie. Ah.
If you haven't seen Signs, apologies.
We won't give any. Well, the Signs. Yeah, Signs could be in my list of movies because I did find it interesting. So, fun fact. I bet. Yep, exactly. Calbot got it. Placing that kid, Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, that's definitely Macaulay Culkin.
Yep. In an uncredited role, I believe. Yeah, exactly. Edward the Black Prince just says throw in your Culkin cameo. Yeah.
Well, that was this was before Home Alone then, but post Uncle Buck.
It was actually after Home Alone. This was
yeah.
a couple of years after Home Alone, and McCulkin in this movie was only about 10 years old, and I guess he retired from acting just a couple years after this movie came out.
Yeah, because he did Good Son and a few other things. Then he stopped.
And then just retired.
Yeah.
And I guess...
Well, good for him.
Yeah, I guess he credits his retirement or fleeing from Hollywood because of, I guess, how he was treated by his parents and how they...
Yeah, it's one of those where when your parents are your manager, it's not always a good thing.
Yeah. And if the parent's not your parent, but your manager and forcing you into your career?
I don't know how much they forced him, but whether there was mismanagement or some other stuff with it, well, that's none of my business. But, his brother's gone on to do really good things, so good for him.
Yeah.
His brother's up for an Oscar this year. Good for him.
Oh, is he really?
That's Kieran. Yeah, Kieran Culkin. That's his brother.
I guess the Oscars are coming out. It's that time of year, isn't it?
Next week.
Oh my gosh!
Next Sunday is Oscar night.
Next Sunday.
Should we do a second stream on next Sunday and just do the Oscar live watch if we can?
Boy, who's up for an Oscar live watch? I haven't watched the Oscars in so long.
Well, if my aerial can pull in a steady signal, I'll watch it. But I just, Conan O'Brien will either be really good and solid, or who the hell knows what. So, but I'd expect him to be solid as a host.
Yeah, I would expect that. And if I don't get to, I'll probably just forget they're on or something. I'll catch who wins after that. But I will have to look at the nominees.
Yeah, I usually will have seen some of the stuff, but this year I just haven't been out to the movies much. So I couldn't tell you who's good or who's not, or who should have been getting this or getting that.
Yeah, I think the closer it gets, I'll start getting into the who does everybody think is going to win, who's good this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, they still say Demi Moore is going to be a front runner for winning. So
I did not know. I am so out of touch.
I think she did. What was the Substance or something?
That's right. She was in that.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
She was the lead in that.
You know what? Current movies, I'm not so up on, but the older movies, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. James Hellier says Macaulay Culkin was in a 90s psycho thriller, The Good Son, from the director of The Stepfather, too. Worth a watch?
Yes and no. This is just personal preference on my part. Yes and no. If you want a bit of a mind trip, watch My Girl with Macaulay Culkin and then watch The Good Son? Or watch them in reverse. If you watch in case you watch The Good Son and go, ooh, I really don't like Macaulay Culkin, just put on the other one.
You know, for a child actor, he really did.
He had range.
He did, and he really did get his choice of roles, I guess you would say, and he wasn't pigeonholed into one stereotype, or he was just the cute kid and nobody would want him other than the cute kid.
Yes, it is James Hellier.
Yes, that's yeah. Oh, Miss Swift mentions Party Monster. Okay.
Party Monster.
Oh, was that an animated? Party Monster. Why do I want to think that was? Oh yeah, of course he was in Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck is on my list of movies to watch.
Oh yeah, Uncle Buck is a Canadian classic, if only for John Candy.
Yeah. So here we have another actor playing his chiropractor, Danny Aiello.
He's been in everything.
In everything, and he's that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in honor of the Oscars.
Got an Oscar winner on your list to watch next week?
You know what? I had kind of already decided which one to watch, but
we don't have to disrupt it if you already got something picked out.
Oscars. Oh boy, Oscar-winning movies. There's so many.
Well, okay. Well, let's just go by Best Picture winners then. There's only about 87 of those. We're gonna be 90 something now.
Okay, so this is just like almost like a random scene.
Yeah, it's like, why is he running from the guys in the car?
He's running from the guys in the car, but we're still haunted by the images that he sees. Yeah. It's the same kind of images he saw from the subway.
Mm-hmm.
So, we can maybe start making some kind of connection with what's going on in his brain.
Yeah, and he's wearing a postal uniform, but I haven't seen him deliver any mail.
He was driving in the truck earlier and had just gotten to that sorting station where his girlfriend works too. But yeah, I mean, we really don't see him actually doing his job.
Just like any postal worker, says Mad Matt. Well, maybe he's following the Newman philosophy, wasn't it? It's raining. I'm not going to work.
And Newman. I used to be a contract worker to deliver the mail out here in the rural area. And, come rain, come shine, come hail or high water, whatever that.
Neither rain, nor sleet, nor snow, nor dog.
It went out the window when you had a blizzard, 50 below, 50 mile an hour winds,
Yeah, like it's the mail. It can wait a day.
It can wait. Yeah. Speaking of the Oscars, remember back in the day, and I know rules have changed, they would only pick 5 movies.
5 up for the Best Picture category.
5 actors.
They broke
5
it up
actresses.
to 10, yeah.
And now,
pictures up to 10, but the actors are still 5, I think.
So, yeah, 10 is a little much. Why not go 15? Why not go 20? Oh, yeah.
And then what gets me too is like when they say, oh, you look at the what's up for script, what's up for acting, what's up for directing, and then you got another 5 because those are usually also up for Best Picture, right? And then the other 5, like I remember, what was it? The Top Gun sequel came out. It was up for Best Picture and a couple other technical things. And by rights that year, it probably could have won Best Picture as just a straight movie. But I think that was the year of Everything Everywhere All at Once at the same time, I think.
Yeah, that was, I want to say 2 years ago?
Something like that, yeah. And frankly, Tom Cruise probably could have had an Oscar nomination off of that movie too, but
yeah, it just all depends on what your competition is.
Yep. I'd have to think to see who won Best Actor that year.
Which one? 2 years ago? That was Brendan Fraser.
Oh yeah, for The Whale, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he won and Ke Quan won.
Right. And Jamie Lee Curtis won.
Jamie Lee Curtis won, and I couldn't tell you who won Best Actress.
Right. Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, James Hellier mentions the Oscars are no friends to genre or popular movies.
This is true. And the last time a genre movie won, other than Everything Everywhere All at Once, was probably Return of the King. And that's 22 years ago.
That was, oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, Michelle Yeoh won.
Michelle Yeoh won. Okay. Yeah, the Oscars went from talent, I don't want to say wholly talent based because Hollywood has always been about
campaign,
who you know, who's deserving of it based on who they know or what they are owed in the business.
Yeah, or something like John Wayne winning an Oscar for maybe not his best role. Or the Academy realizing we really should have given this to you last year, but we'll give it to you this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah. Okay, so Calbot over in Discord mentioned Jacob's Ladder was released November 2nd of 1990. Home Alone released 2 weeks later.
Interesting.
That was interesting. And I know McCulkin was the rage in Home Alone, but I did not equate him with this movie at the time.
No, definitely not.
So it is interesting. I think Tim Robbins nails this role.
Tim Robbins is excellent in this.
He is. And I don't recall if he's really ever been recognized for his art, but he certainly is a very prolific actor and is always worth watching.
Yeah. Well, he did win an Oscar for Mystic River.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, good for them. He was good in that. I must have missed the Oscars that year. So Mystic River, 2003.
Yeah. Because heaven forbid the Oscars actually give an acting Oscar to someone in a genre picture. I'm looking at Ian McKellen not winning in 2001.
And I remember when Return of the King won. That was some 20 some odd years ago.
Yep.
It blew my mind that it actually got that recognition. So, okay, so this scene is, I think, a very pivotal scene. It's almost like this random. He's thrown into this random party. Doesn't look like he wants to be there.
Yeah, he's got that this smile of "I'd rather not be here."
Yeah.
Smile.
So this is a very interesting scene. And not just because there's like a deer head in the fridge that you just gloss over like, what the heck? Oh, old Johnny Devick mentions Ben-Hur. Ben-Hur was deserved of an Oscar. Oh, that was
it won, didn't it?
That was classic.
It won like 11 Oscars that year, didn't it?
Wasn't it like the most winningest movie of the time?
Yep.
The 1959. The budget at that time was about $15 million.
Throw that in an inflation calculator and you'll choke an elephant.
Yep. So Ben-Hur was nominated for 12 Academy Awards and won 11 of them.
Oh.
Yep. And it was the most winningest, that's not even a word, but the most winningest movie before, gosh.
11. Titanic won a bunch, but didn't sweep up. Didn't sweep categories, but that was one thing I remember with Return of the King. It was up for, I think, 11 or 13, but it won everything that it was up for. And that hadn't happened in either ever or forever. Yeah, and this is the Eston Pather Murkison, as Miss Swift said, of not ER fame, Law and Order fame.
Yep, she's in the regular Law and Order, not
she was in the regular Law and Order. Yeah, and she's went on to be on one of those Chicago shows, which is odd because it's technically also in the Law and Order universe. It's just same actor, different role.
Yeah, all of those shows seem to be related these days. Edward the Black Prince mentioned the reason why horror gets nominated nowadays is because it's all that elevated horror films that are more drama / sociology.
I guess. Yeah.
Horror is more, mainstream, more accepted.
Would be interesting if Oz Perkins gets a nomination for directing or writing, but this year would have had to have been for Longlegs, but but next year could be for The Monkey because that just came out.
Okay, because Longlegs was in this current
would have been eligible for this crop. Yeah,
this crowd. Yeah. Well, there are some. As a lifelong fan of horror movies, there is something to be said for the low budget indie horror films over the mainstream big Hollywood productions.
Oh yeah.
But sometimes when Hollywood gets involved, it's simply to throw more money at a project to give a director and the actors and the special effects artists more freedom to create what they wanted to in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what you're hoping for in the big budget horror movies, and it's not like a sellout.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so.
Well, then you get into the later Halloweens, and they throw, let's throw the tech at this, and then as we saw in the Search of Darkness 1994, when they get to, maybe the effects didn't stand up, but the story was okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm gonna turn down the volume on my TV in case it's encroaching on the mic.
So this is a very interesting scene that all of a sudden he is experiencing this or seeing this,
Mm-hmm.
but he seems to be the only one that is affected by it. So yeah, and I apologize for I forgot about this the flashing strobe lights for anybody that is sensitive to those. I think there are a couple throughout this movie um, that if you remember where they are, just kind of shout them out. So if you're really paying attention, I guess the interlaced scenes of Vietnam, they happen pretty quickly, and sometimes we don't have those extended scenes of his time in Vietnam. And so I think at this time, yeah, because I think it was already mentioned where this sets in his timeline this is after a couple years after Vietnam, and he left his wife, because they did mention his son who had passed away before he went to Nam, and that was Macaulay Culkin. Um, so he's kind of just dealing with a whole lot of stuff right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, fun, an ice bath. That's never
Ah,
pleasant.
well, he's running like 106-degree fever.
Okay, well then, yeah, you get in an ice bath.
Yeah, but from what I've heard, that's the worst thing you could do, and you would just want to put him in some tepid water to
Well, yeah,
bring.
you don't want to shock the system, no.
Um, but yeah, put him in an ice bath. That'll bring down your fever. Uh, One of Tim Robbins', I guess, most famous roles for me anyway was Shawshank Redemption,
Same here.
and that it's on my list of movies. It is a classic and timeless. Um,
That's a movie
but
that if it's on, you pause what you're doing and keep watching it. It
yes,
doesn't matter if you're an hour and a half in, or it's 20 minutes in, or five
yeah,
minutes in. You just stop what you're doing and watch Shawshank.
yeah. But it is a long movie though. I think it's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, something like
And
that.
this is a discussion we've had before with the group that I've had with myself constantly is how long
He's too
is
long.
too long. Um, I Lord of the
Really?
Rings, I would love to
Yeah.
throw in there, but
It's
3 hours, 3.5 hours.
each. Uh,
Yeah,
that's even if you don't do the extended editions, it's still they're all over 2 hours. They're all like 2:20 at least.
yeah. So I'll probably draw the line at 2:15, maybe
Hmm.
2:10, 2:15. Oh yeah, old Johnny Devick, Lord of the Rings extended. That's what, 4 hours, 4.5,
Something
or
like that.
is that the 5 hour one? I think um, Return of the King extended is 6.
I don't know if it's that. I honestly, I haven't paid attention to the time that was going by when I was watching them.
Let's see, extended.
Well, it's over 2 DVDs, so that's going to
Okay,
be an hour and a half to 2 hours a disc, potentially. So,
yeah, it's about 4 hours and 15 minutes. So interesting choice, Elizabeth Pena for his girlfriend. I don't recall back in the 90s. I don't recall her being in a lot of things. I do remember her voice from The Incredibles.
Was she Mirage in The Incredibles?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because my brain was going, well, she's not Holly Hunter.
Right. Yep.
Then I had to go other females in that movie. Mirage.
Yep. She was in Batteries Not Included. We did have that movie for a watch party. I remember that.
Yeah, I think we did that around the same time we did Short Circuit back in the day, right?
We didn't do. We haven't done Short Circuit
ever.
I don't recall putting. I don't recall that.
Huh.
Nope. I can look at the list real quick, but I don't think we've ever.
I could have sworn Short Circuit was on there.
No.
It might have been an availability thing at the time. I don't know.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with how available the movies are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anybody from the crowd, shout out. Have we done Short Circuit?
Well, you wouldn't. You might cast Fisher Stevens, James Hellier, but you wouldn't cast him in that particular role.
Yeah, haven't done it.
Well, that needs to go on a list then.
I do have it. I do have it on to watch list. Yeah, that's a fun one.
That sounds about right, Miss Swift. That you get the extended editions with two sets of bonus DVDs. You can watch a featurette, which is a feature-length featurette, and then watch the movie without commentary, and then you can watch it the rest of the week with different commentary.
Yeah, Mad Matt mentions so many movies we've seen. Yeah, and there are so many more to choose from. And it really is hard to dwindle down to what movie to watch week to week.
Yeah, even on what was the? I think one of the first. I'm forgetting now. Even one of the first things that when you took over, Sharon, I was looking through my bookshelves of the movies I've got, and I'm going, "Oh, we could watch that. We could watch that. We could watch that." Well, I'm trying to find do I have a copy of whatever it was for that week?
Yep.
And
I'm glad, with the help of, I think Mad Matt gave me a list, and Andrew had given me a list of the movies that we had done. It really pays to keep track because movies that are on my list and others' lists, I would have to go back to verify we haven't done before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no saying we won't repeat a movie. Maybe we will, but with all of the available movies out there,
there's too much other good stuff.
There is.
It might be fun to do Princess Bride again.
Yeah, but that's taking the spot
of something else that's good.
Of something else, yep.
And honestly, do I need to watch Princess Bride again? No, I can already recite it. So
yeah. Eric mentions Phantoms with Ben Affleck is a great watch. I don't know if I'm familiar with that.
Is that?
What year did that come out? Does anybody?
I'm trying to think. Was that only just a little bit before Good Will Hunting? I'm not sure. Huh. It's clearly post Voyage of the Mimi because he did that when he was in Short Pants.
Well, I'm going to write it down.
Phantom Smith Bennett.
Maybe I am familiar with that. Maybe it's one of those movies that we just kind of missed the first time around.
No, it's 1998. Liev Schreiber's in that. Looks like Rose McGowan.
Huh. Peter O'Toole is in it too. Oh wow, this is like an all-star cast.
Well, if Peter O'Toole's in it, I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Phantoms, 98.
What was coming out in 98 that it might have... Phantoms is a Dean Koontz adaptation, James Hellier says.
Well, his books were usually decent.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what had Ben Affleck done right before that would have been Good Will Hunting. Let's see. I don't want his producer credits, I want his actor credits. Back to... Okay, so 98 would have been... Okay, he had a good stretch here. Chasing Amy, 97. Good Will Hunting, 97. Phantoms, 98. Armageddon, Shakespeare in Love, 98. So that was a good year. But I'm pretty sure Armageddon and Shakespeare in Love overshadowed Phantoms.
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
Shakespeare in Love made the Oscar rounds.
Yeah. And 99 was Dogma, Forces of Nature with Sandra Bullock.
And what'd you say, Dogma came out?
Dogma was 99.
Okay. So Dogma's an interesting movie. I want to put it on my list.
But good luck getting your hands on it.
Okay, so here's the deal. It has been unavailable for decades.
Yep.
Harvey Weinstein had kept a hold of those rights, even in prison.
Yeah.
And so rumor has it that he has finally released those rights.
And Kevin Smith desperately wants them back.
And I've heard Kevin already has them. Don't quote me on that, but I heard he did secure the rights and is looking at releasing it in the theaters first and then doing like the DVD rental round.
Yeah.
Oh,
that would be nice.
Cross your fingers. Let's.
Yeah. I have a copy of it on DVD, which I found on the used market. So.
Yeah, if you want it now, that's the only place you can find it.
Yeah. And I know there was some, because I worked in a video store movie and music store for a while, and they got their hands on some foreign copy or foreign printed copy of Dogma once. But I looked at it and I went, this cover looks like it was cheaply made, like the slip cover. And then looking at it going, all regions DVD. This feels too much like a bootleg for me to point anyone to it.
Chances are, well, it was released on video at one point.
Oh, yeah.
So you might not have a bootleg. Have you verified it yet?
Well, I know the DVD I've got, but the DVD that the store was selling, it sort of came and went, so I don't know if...
Yeah. Well, if you're buying it from a store, I mean, you have no reason to think it was a bootleg.
Oh, true. But sometimes you can tell, you got this from Asia. And there were times when I would point people to, it was a copy of Highlander. And it was clearly sourced from Asia because the back cover was all in Chinese or Taiwanese or whatever it was. And then there was a 3-pack of Highlander and something else. And someone had the import special version of Highlander. And I went, no. You want this. And they're like, what do you mean? I went, no. You want this. Because I can't guarantee the picture quality of that.
Very interesting.
Yeah, because what I don't want you to do is bring it back saying this looked like crap.
Yeah. Yeah. I find, okay, so he's recovering from his 106-degree fever.
Well, that'll mess with your brain, period. 106 degrees.
Yeah, and he's looking through this book whose title indicated it had to do with purgatory. So this is a very interesting scene. Again, another interesting scene.
And James Hillier, I have watched Supergirl, and I might need to watch it again, even though he's wearing some weird sweater or whatever pattern he had on that for his costume.
Oh, James Hillier mentioned Dogma has a UK DVD. Yeah, long out of print. Yeah. And Ms. Swift, I think we had a copy of the Dogma DVD, but it got violated by mice, so we had to get rid of it.
Ooh.
Yeah, Dogma. Yeah, we're going to keep our eyes out for Dogma. So stay tuned.
Yeah, no, I found that on the used market. I went, oh, good, my Kevin Smith collection can be complete.
Mm-hmm.
Even, honestly, Red State's hard to get your hands on now.
Which one? Red State?
Yeah.
There's quite a few. Okay, that's 2011.
Yeah. Though, oddly, the cheapest movie I've ever found out of the Criterion collection, because those are usually having a markup, was Chasing Amy on DVD, because it's a Kevin Smith title. It just goes, oh, this must be $10. As opposed to everything else in the Criterion where it's like $60.
Well, a lot of his stuff is becoming part of the Criterion collection.
Well, I hope more actually comes out, because I know it's Chasing Amy, but I thought that was it. But,
is Clerks part of the
Criterion?
Did that ever get Criterion?
Nope, it should, but it hasn't.
Yeah, it should. Oh, so he is. So we're seeing him now with his Vietnam buddies, and I think he's trying to figure out what's going on, and we're getting the first hint that maybe something
happened to them back in the day.
Something hinky was going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be honest, old Johnny Devick, I do kind of agree with you there with the He-Man on Netflix, but He-Man is a hard needle to thread. It is odd seeing Pruitt Taylor Vince with hair, because he's had nothing but a buzzed head for everything else I've seen him in.
We did He-Man, right?
Masters of the Universe? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did that.
Speaking of movies that, well, actually, no, Dolph Lundgren was not dubbed in He-Man, because he got his lines right.
That was back when he had a really thick accent.
Well, yeah, that was almost right post, a couple of years post Rocky III, but still.
He had, in Rocky III, he had, Rocky IV. Rocky IV, that's exactly right, where they went to Russia. He had, I want to say, one line in that Rocky. I would break you.
Yeah.
I think it was his only line.
Yeah,
he nailed the line, though.
Yeah, he didn't speak much, but he made an impression.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Speaking of Rocky. Gotta love the Rocky movies.
Yeah, I got the Rocky set where there's Sylvester Stallone went in and made a new cut of Rocky 4, and it does actually improve the movie.
Oh, is it like an extended edition?
It's sort of a director's cut. Like he retitled it Rocky v Drago.
Oh,
So all the
okay.
stuff with Paulie and the robot gone.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the stuff with the kid gone.
Oh, I like that stuff with the kid
Yeah,
in the beginning. It's very
and
touching.
he moves some scenes around. Makes Rocky 5 make a little less sense, but that's fine. Rocky 5 never made sense.
Oh, okay. Here we go. This is a hardcore scene to get through.
Yeah.
And seemingly out of nowhere, his car blows up.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're transported back to
the chopper in Vietnam.
So the chopper where he's getting evacuated after his injury. So we do see some kind of continuation of him in Vietnam. So like the story continues as his story in his current condition is continuing. How it all comes together, we just don't know yet.
And the guy pulling him back, I can't place him, but I want to say ER.
I think you're right.
Or, no, not ER. I'm thinking of Crimson Tide. He was in Crimson Tide.
He had some kind of cameo. He's one of those guys.
Yeah. Like, you know him to see him. And I'm seeing him as one of the lieutenants in Crimson Tide.
Mm. But he does look like Anthony Edwards from ER.
Yeah. Not Anthony Edwards, but he has that look about him.
He does. He has that look. With more hair than Edwards.
Yes.
But yeah, then he pulls him from the car and then he just takes off.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, for anybody that has not seen this and this is their first time watching, how are you piecing together these little clips of before and current? How's it flowing? And are you kind of getting how this movie's going to end?
This is my second watch it, and it still works as a straight movie.
Yeah. So Eric LaSalle, he's in ER.
Yeah, absolutely is.
Ving Rhames
behind him. Yeah.
Yep.
Has been in everything.
He's been in everything.
And I still remember the Golden Globes where Ving Rhames was a class act and gave his Golden Globe to Jack Lemmon.
I think, was that when he won for Pulp Fiction?
No, he won for, who was the boxing promoter with the wild hair back in the day? He won for a TV movie and gave it to Jack Lemmon. And I can't remember if I think Jack Lemmon was up for 12 Angry Men.
Oh.
And he gave it to him for the new 12 Angry Men.
Why do I remember that moment, but I couldn't tell you
what he won. What he actually won for? No, I couldn't tell you what he won for. I know what.
Couldn't tell.
He gave it to Jack Lemmon. Yeah.
So Eric says I have not a clue. So okay, we're gonna.
Well, because it works as a straight movie because he's talking with his other Vietnam buddies, saying like,
yeah.
Did something happen to us? What do you remember? And clearly Ving Rhames has got a bit of a shaky hand there. So I'm forgetting exactly whose funeral they're at. Must have been one of their other buddies, but
the guy who got blown up in the car.
Oh, Pruitt, Taylor Vent. Yeah, okay,
Pruitt.
Yeah. See, I wasn't looking at the screen when that happened. So.
As a host, it's this whole different vibe. Mm-hmm. Not only do we have to watch the movie, but let's carry on the discussion, and we have to multitask. But probably the biggest downside of doing it in front of the camera is I don't have my popcorn. So
Yeah, I don't have my crackers or snack or whatever bowl of
yep.
peanuts because nobody needs to hear someone munching on peanuts in their ear.
In fact, shoving our face full of food. No
It's
one
it's
wants
it's
that.
it's bad enough at the movie theater when you're in a semi private afternoon showing, and it's you and four other people, and everyone can hear when everyone's eating.
Yep.
Oh God, I went to see the John Krasinski movie with Emily Blunt,
A Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place. Yeah, and someone started eating at a what was ended up being a tense part, and after the tense bit, they were like, "Sorry."
Yeah, because the whole movie is
Yeah,
silent.
no, everyone was trying to be so
Yep.
inconspicuous with their snacking and stuff.
Yep. Oh,
Yes, Bad
George
Matt.
Costanza.
ASMR, the concession stand. Yes,
Exactly.
George or Jason Alexander from the McDLT commercial.
He will
He will,
forever be immortalized as Costanza.
and he is happy to be so.
Yep.
Well, even as interviews he was doing at the time, I remember. Well, you can even watch them back now, where a lot was made of him, Michael Richards, and Julie Louis Dreyfus, and even Jerry to an extent, of them negotiating what at the time was ridiculous money on a
Hmm.
per episode basis. And he was explaining it to, I think it was Charlie Rose or somebody. He said, "Well, you have to look at the economics of this. Uh, the three of them, he said, like, basically, we came in as working actors, and the show started making a lot of money for the network. And we were looking at what our residuals contract was, which was whatever was in SAG. And he's like, well, if you're not going to give us money on the back end, okay, but you can't do the show without the other three of us. So we're going to make you pay us up front. If you're not going to be able to take care of us for the next 20 years with residuals, we're going to take care of ourselves up front." So good for him for doing that.
Yep. It's simple economics.
Yep.
And it's pretty common for actors in a show like that. It's been done before, and
Yep.
it
Done
will
since.
continue to be done.
Yep.
Um, if you've got the power to bring in the money to the studios, to everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't any one of us, we would fight for more money.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Um, and now with AI coming in the industry, that's a whole nother
That's a whole other
battle.
thing. Yeah.
And it's just now starting. How are they going to work that into their contracts? What does that look
Mm-hmm.
like? What does this whole industry look like?
Yeah. Well, even with some of the AI they've done well or done poorly is up for discussion. But you know, with they've dealt with estates of people that have been long dead, namely Peter Cushing with Rogue One, and
I was just going to mention
Carrie Fisher, who had recently passed away. And one likes to think that the people at Lucasfilm are class acts, and they said, "Well, we'll only do it if the estates and the family signs off." And the estates and the family did, so they went and did what they did. And the whole thing with AI and recreating people and whatnot, that's all improved. And like even with de-aging, like you look at Jeff Bridges in the second Tron movie, there are clearly stuff that when you look at it now, you go, "Whoa, that doesn't look so good." At the time in the theater, you were like, "Whoa, that looks like young Jeff Bridges," and you carried on. Like there wasn't a whole lot of the, "Oh, this looks terrible, that looks terrible." It was, "Whoa, that's neat," and you moved on. None of this, "I can do it better. Here's my version."
right.
It's like, well, no,
Well,
it's like your version is done 18 months after they did that.
Yeah.
So you have 18 months of improvements to do it.
Well, and it's only getting
better.
Better. It's new technology is always on the horizon. And it will be incorporated into the studios, into movie making, TV making. There's no getting around it. But at what point does the audience say
enough is enough
of the fakery?
Just give us someone doing it. Yeah.
Give us the real people. When someone passes away, let them go. And if you're going to use AI, why not use it to create something new? Why are you using it to create something that has been? I thought they handled Carrie Fisher's death, I think, elegantly, really the only way that they could have, and still kept her a part of the movie that she started to film. So it wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst, but I do think they handled that with grace.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so the lawyer George Costanza is not going to represent them. And so yeah, these guys are just trying to fight for the truth. I guess this lawyer's not going to get it for him.
No. He's, as he probably says, he's one man going up against the U.S. Army.
Yep.
Good luck with that.
Yep. So James Hellier commented, Alien Romulus's deep fakery was appalling.
It wasn't so great, no.
Yeah. And Calbot mentioned de-aged Harrison Ford looks good in Dial of Destiny, still sounds old though.
Yeah, because and Harrison Ford even talked about that. It's like he's like, well, I can I can modulate my voice to sound a bit younger, but I can't sound 40 years younger. But yeah, Indiana Jones 5 worked really well as a de-aging because it was Harrison Ford himself with all the dots and markers. And as he said, Lucasfilm has any number of movies where they've got footage of him and behind the scenes footage and all sorts of stuff. So they had a massive archive to go back in and throw into a machine.
Yeah.
Not so much with Alien Romulus, right, where it was almost like they were, I don't know, I haven't watched any special features on those to know what they actually did. But it's almost like they took mostly his face out of Alien and then maybe some other stuff and tried playing with it. But I'm like, if you have Alien as the source, use that and play with that. But again, they also got approval from the estate, so
right,
the director was doing it the right way. Clark Gable v. Megatron. Okay, I kind of want to see that, old Johnny Devick.
Well, if AI can de-age people, they can bring Clark Gable back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is seemingly random. He's just plucked off the streets and thrown into a car with goons.
The goon on his right is another one of those that guy actors who I can't place right now.
But I seem to recall he always plays the thug, the heavy, the mafia,
yeah, he's one of those New York actors that you'd see that he's just there and in everything.
But you're starting to feel like this movie is drawing you into some kind of
conspiracy thing.
Yeah. And we hope for some kind of Mad Matt, the government mafia.
Yeah. You know, parts of this I've got not as arch as they did it in Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson, but you know, the government's after me kind of thing.
Yeah, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean the government's not after you.
This is true. Oh God, does this make it a Christmas movie? Does this now have to be on my December watch list?
Well, you know what? There is a reference. This isn't a spoiler. That it's about a month after Thanksgiving. So you would expect some Santa, some Christmas appearances. It certainly doesn't look decorated for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But, we have this dirty Santa guy stealing his wallet. Merry Christmas to me. Okay.
And I agree with you, James Hellier. If you're going to watch Ed Wood, you should watch Plan 9 after.
Okay. That's an oldie but a goodie. That's a good thought, James Hellier. Oh, Cowbot mentioned they're going to put a robot squid in his belly button. That's a reference to The Matrix.
Yeah.
I think if The Matrix wasn't so long, it would make my list. The first Matrix, anyway.
Matrix 1 isn't that long, is it?
Let me check. 2 hours and 16 minutes.
Well, 16 minutes of that's credits, so it could fit within the 2-hour window.
It could. So the doctor here, he looks really familiar.
He's got a wicked unibrow.
Yes. I want to say his name is David Cohn. I think he's in Law and Order.
He could have been.
Or some kind of Chicago cop show. Ooh. Anybody correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody knows his name. John Cohen, David Cohen, something like that.
Well, let me pull up the movie on IMDb here.
That's what comes to me. Ooh, James Hellier says, I tend to double bill Nosferatu with Shadow of the Vampire. Ooh. We could do the original Nosferatu. That's readily available. And I think the copyright, it might have actually expired on that. As a lot of things in January, a lot of things have lost their copyright.
Yeah, because it goes to, I think it's 100 years for some stuff.
Yeah, I want to say anywhere from 175 to 100 years. I think for the Mickey Mouse and Popeye.
The original, the first iteration of Mickey Mouse, though.
Yes.
It was Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse, yeah. And then, Winnie the Pooh, which is how they did the Evil Poohniverse.
Uh-huh. And then Popeye came up this year.
Yeah. But I remember it was big when Steamboat Willie and Winnie the Pooh went, anyone can do whatever they want. And then Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey came out, and people were like, no, why did they do this?
So yeah, here's an interesting scene. That he's the only one that seemed fazed by this blood and gore and whatever is going on. No one else seems bothered. James Hellier mentions Nosferatu is public domain, that restorations and modern scores are copyrighted, though. Yeah, so it would just be the original 1923 version in its original form.
And that might be on the Wayback Machine. I'd have to look.
I bet it is. Or it's probably available in any of the streaming platforms. They don't have to pay a copyright. Anything on that. Miss Swift asked, did Peter Pan become public domain? Not that I know of.
I think the Barry family kept their copyright re-upped. I'd have to look.
Yeah, not that I know of. If it does, it might not be for a while. Yes, Mad Matt, he's about to get clockwork oranged. But isn't it interesting? His girlfriend is present and she's all decked out like she knows what she's doing.
Okay, that's just an unpleasant view there.
Yeah, this whole scene is just
Well, I was
wow.
thinking on it though. A needle that long would snap before it would go any because there's not much skin before there's bone of your forehead. So
Right,
it
you'd
would
have
take some. It
to
would take some force to do anything.
yes, to get through your skull right there. Oh, Johnny Devick mentioned Superman is soon public domain also. Probably his original iteration, maybe.
Yeah, I think like you said, the first iterations of things like with the Sherlock Holmes
Hmm.
when they went public domain, but later stuff isn't.
Yeah. So here, okay, so not to give any spoilers away, but we're changing gears here.
Mm-hmm.
He's okay, and now his wife slash ex-wife is
Wife,
here.
yeah,
Yeah,
with two kids that aren't his or are his.
they are his.
Okay.
So yeah, from what I remember, and they had three kids, but the one died.
And
Oh,
it's
Matt, is Patrick Duffy about to walk out of the shower? Oh God, I hope not.
and it must just be genetics that Macaulay Culkin is shockingly blonde, and those other two kids are very brunette to two brunette parents.
Exactly. I've lost my subtitles. There we go. So we have looks like about a half hour left.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, give or take. So
If your leg's up like that
in traction,
in a traction-ish thing like that, you don't go moving that.
it's okay. I'm his chiropractor. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But he's getting awfully violent. Yeah, if you had your leg up like that and you were in a hospital, would you want someone to just come in and grab you off the bed and wheel you out?
Not so much.
Not so much, unless you think you're living in a nightmare and there's body parts everywhere.
And this has got to be the funkiest chiropractor's office you'll ever see.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't strike me as a real doctor's office, but it's yeah, as Calbot says, if it's Danny Aiello, I'm fine with it. Sure,
Mhm.
why not? Yeah, Mad Matt says a chiropractor nearly put me in traction. Ugh.
Yeah, because chiropractors know some of the bone stuff, but they should be smart enough to know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've seen them work well,
Mm-hmm.
and you hear stories where it doesn't go well. And when it doesn't go well, it can go horribly wrong.
Well, you look at what someone of just the Aiello's size and what
Mm.
he's doing and what he's potentially compressing or not compressing or crunching that shouldn't be crunched. It's like, I kind of need those bones in my spine to not be dust here, pal.
Yep. Yeah, and he really is using a lot of force with him.
Yep.
Oh, Miss Swift, Scott Cohen was the doctor with the unibrow. He was recently in 2 episodes of The Penguin. That's his name. Thank you.
The Penguin was a good show.
I have got to watch that. But I did hear it was really good.
I'll say I didn't like the Batman, but the Penguin was a good show.
So in the show The Penguin, there is no Batman, right? Is it just about the Penguin?
Yeah, it's just about the Penguin, but it's definitely post the movie. You don't really have to have watched the movie. It's one of those, it kind of helps because it's the introduction to this version of the Penguin.
Okay.
And like in the last 10 seconds, you see the bat signal. And that's it.
Okay. Boy, I think he's using a bit too much force. Yeah, settle down, Danny. Yeah, but what do I know? I never went to medical school. Oh, James Hellier. Yes, I like the Adam West Batman. That's the Batman I grew up in. Batman 66.
Oh,
We've talked about that.
Can we put that on a watch list at some point? Because that's just fun.
It is. It is. It is. That's the Batman and Robin I grew up on. The comic.
I think I've got a copy of that on tape.
Do you?
I think so.
And I'm assuming it's readily available. I have not checked.
It should be. You don't have to buy the series to get it. It should be independent.
Right. It's an independent movie.
Yeah.
Independent of the show.
Yeah.
All right. It's on all the streaming platforms. Yep.
Yes. James, pass me the shark repellent bat spray.
Yeah. I have movies on the list that predate that too. Go back in the 50s.
And we're reading his discharge papers. Yes, it does have a Blu-ray release, and I'm hoping it's actually a good quality one.
Ah. Yes, Johnny Divick. I saw the animated version. Talk about old voices. The animated version of Batman? Oh.
Not the 90s animated series, though. The old cartoon from before.
That's what he says. I saw the animated version. Talk about old voices. So, oh, wow. What does that date back to? Oh, so we're at the part where I think he's been dishonorably discharged.
Did it say dishonorably?
It said, that's what it said, dishonorably.
I could have sworn it said honorably the first time I watched it.
Nope. And it goes back to what Costanza was saying. I'm not taking the case, or it's coming around that you guys were never there or whatnot. So now we have on top of this a dishonorable discharge. Oh, okay. Johnny Devick says it was made in the last decade. Yeah, there's a new one with voices from the show. And James Hellier follows up. They did 2 animated movies in the 2000s with Adam West and Burt Ward. The Return of the Caped Crusaders. Oh, what a fun lark to go back and check out these Batman iterations.
Yeah. For whatever people can say about the various iterations of Batman, Superman, or whatever other DC character in the live action movies, the cartoons by Warner Brothers Animation have almost always been rock solid. Because they get to go and play in whatever comic book storyline they want, don't have to appeal to the mass audience. Because they can make them for cheap enough and get their money back in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This scene is breaking his heart.
Mm-hmm.
And it's breaking our hearts too. We feel for you. Oh, over in Discord, Mad Matt added some new photo magnets to his fridge. Oh, it's Batman in the Batmobile. Oh, those were the days. Oh, and if you look at the bottom right picture, that's I want to say Frankenberry. Oh, yep, another staple from my childhood.
Count Chocula and Frankenberry?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that's Frankenberry. And they still make those cereals, by the way, every year.
Complete with non-nutritive cereal varnish.
Yep. I mean, they don't taste very good, but I don't think they ever tasted good. But what kid doesn't like that sugary cereal that turns your milk pink and brown and chocolatey?
Yeah. Closest I got to any of that was Honey Nut Cheerios.
That's still good. As a grown-up, that's what I would eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our main character, he's kind of slowly unraveling. And he's just kind of cooped up, feeling like he's losing his mind, has, I guess, that PTSD that we would normally associate with his condition. He's a fascinating actor. He could look at this, he could look at you, look at the audience dead on and give a smile that is not really a smile, but you know that he's smiling on the inside, but there's so much more going on that we don't know about.
The YouTube chat's going on about the breakfast cereals.
Yeah.
My brain went to the Flintstones spin-offs of Fruity Pebbles and Cocoa Pebbles.
Oh, yep. They're still good.
Never had them, but I remember the boxes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were staples when I was a kid. But then you grow up and you get the Honey Nut Cheerios or just regular Cheerios.
Yeah. Eric's showing a screen grab in the Discord. I wasn't wrong. I wasn't losing my mind. It was an honorable discharge in 1972 or whenever it was.
That did look like dishonorable. Thank you for that.
Went in a private and left a private. And there's the dude what pulled him from the car. or away from the car.
Yeah, and Miss Swift posted a picture of him. Where is that from? And I feel like I should know that, but yeah, I'm drawing a blank. Because he's been in just about everything. Wasn't he in another war movie? And I want to say Platoon.
Not Platoon.
I don't think it was Platoon. No, was he in Predator?
No.
He wasn't in Predator?
No. You might be thinking of Shane Black.
Okay, I might have been. Yeah, maybe.
He might have been in Predator 2.
I'm thinking of Predator. The guy when they're in the chopper, he's telling the joke.
Yeah, no, that was Shane Black.
Okay. So, fun fact, we've done Predator 2 and Predator 3 for watch parties, I believe, but not the first one, right? If anybody knows offhand.
I don't know offhand. I remember we did Predator 2 not that long ago.
Right. And Predator 3? Or just Predator? I think we did Predator 2, but not the first one.
I think he was in A Few Good Men as well.
Okay.
Miss Swift.
Okay, so Miss Swift, Happy Birthday to Me. Is that the name of the movie, or is today your birthday?
I think it's the name of the movie.
It's a 1981 slasher. Ah, okay. Good to know.
Okay. Old Johnny Depp, Tropic Thunder is the best Vietnam War movie.
Okay. Well, okay. I gotta admit,
it stands up. It is still hilarious. Yeah.
And it's one of those movies where you shouldn't like it for a couple reasons, but I just freaking loved it.
Well, it's one of the better modern satires that's been done in the last 20 years.
Yeah. And they got away with it.
Yeah. And then you think, oh yeah, Ben Stiller directed that. Then you think Ben Stiller directed that, and went, yeah.
And they got away with it, and it hit the theaters and did a nice little business.
And got an Oscar nomination.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
It is a guilty pleasure.
Robert Downey Jr. got an Oscar nomination. He lost to Heath Ledger as the Joker, but he got an Oscar nomination for that movie.
But it just goes to show there are so many things that you look at a movie and you think that shouldn't work.
Yeah.
None of it should have worked, but it did.
Oh, all of it worked. Yeah.
And it all worked, and it really is just one of those movies to just have fun with, I guess.
Yeah, and I'd have to go back and actually watch it with the commentary to see if he actually kept the voice going in the commentary. I think he did.
I don't know. Okay, I haven't watched it in a while. I'll watch it with commentary.
Yeah, because he has a line in the movie. I don't break character till I finish the DVD commentary, right? So I think he actually did that and didn't break character until the commentary was done.
Okay, it was Friendly Fire?
Yeah.
So we've got some more exposition.
Mm-hmm. And far be it from the Army to cover up a friendly fire incident.
Edward the Black Prince, what do you mean you people share? When did I say that? Did I just say it?
He's quoting Tropic Thunder.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people? You're Australian. Speak Australian.
I have okay. I've got to watch it again. I don't know if it's the sort of movie I'd put for a watch party. I don't know. You want to take a vote? I don't think I would, but we can watch it.
We don't shy from controversy here.
You know,
but it needs to be a fun place for everyone. I get it.
Yeah, and so if it's something that we could watch on our own time and then come back here and discuss, it's just with all the other movies that I want to get to, it's probably not one that I'd say, hey, let's do that one.
Well, we can just have a side thread in the Discord or something.
Exactly. Well, that's kind of like what we always do. We go on these rabbit holes and try to stay on topic as much as we can.
Yeah. Oh, and here's a key plot point that we're just seeing.
Yep.
You don't usually come back from a bayonet to the gut.
No, interesting though, his first visit to the chiropractor, you did see the scar, which is interesting because this looked like a direct hit to the gut.
Yeah. And if you're going to shove a bayonet in someone's gut, move it around a bit so you can't fix things.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're starting to get some of the plot points connected.
But it still is working as a straight movie.
Exactly. And we haven't given away any of the, well, we won't give away anything. Yes, good point, James Hellier. The taxi driver had a Nixon Now poster in his cab, which would date from before the Vietnam scenes took place.
That would make sense because I think his discharge paper said discharge 72.
72, but Nixon was president until 73
or 4, but
74?
I want to say.
I thought he
I'm Canadian, down. So my exact dates are different.
Yeah, he resigned in 74. So during this time, Nixon would have been president. So Nixon Now was.
That sounds like a campaign button, though. So
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Not to say the guy would kept his campaign button. People keep campaign buttons for years. So.
Okay. Oh, it was a slogan from his 1968 campaign.
Oh, well then, yeah, that would make sense that it would be kept as long. So
there you go. Yeah. Good history lesson. 1972, he was running for re-election.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, history was my weakest subject in school.
Mad Matt, you're giving me chills down my spine. Please don't allude to a fifth-term Nixon.
Well, he would have.
He would have gone for a third term, but that would have required a constitutional amendment.
Yeah, thank God the Constitution only gets him in office for 2.
Yep.
Nice to witness the lift. Well, they were going to, I remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor of California and people wanted him to run for president, they wanted the constitutional amendment to change. And they were going to fight for it.
Well, he's doing other things and fighting for small local stuff, so good for him.
Yeah, I mean, just because he was a governor of California doesn't mean he would have made a good president. Who knows?
The thing is, he probably would.
I mean, so sometimes we're setting the bar kind of low for what without getting, this is a generic discussion, open for anybody. Sometimes we set the bar really low. And we just hope for greatness, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, James Halliard, changing the Constitution is deliberately difficult. That's the way we designed it. And it shouldn't be easy.
Now, is he at his old house now? I can't remember. Because he went in with the doorman.
Right.
Which clearly wouldn't have been the building he's been living in.
Right.
So he's somewhere else now.
It's playing out right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So something is playing out. Yes, Johnny Devick. After Roosevelt, they made the 2 terms rule because he was in office for 3.
Well, he got elected 3 times. He died in the 3rd one.
Right. But that's when they kind of put a stop to that.
Yeah. That sounds about right, James. Mm-hmm. People on both sides of the aisle going, let's not have someone in there until they're past their due date.
Yeah. And it is basically how this country was founded, to not have someone in office like a monarch would be in office their whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah. We elect officials to not do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is a very interesting key scene too. He is actually now in the present interacting with his son.
Yeah. But it's a little like A Beautiful Mind, where the kid doesn't age.
No comment. But it is something to kind of chew on. Is this in his mind? What is going on? That bright light was a big transition.
Mm-hmm. And that's a long hold on a closing shot.
Mm-hmm. So where are we? Yep. The beauty of this movie is it's something that's going to kick around in your brain when it's over. Yes, Edward the Black Prince. I feel a lot of people don't appreciate the ending and just see it as lazy. I rewatched. So Siskel and Ebert back in the day were some of the most well-known movie critics, and Ebert liked the ending and Siskel didn't. He felt it was kind of like a cop out, like a rushed cop out, like you're saying, Edward the Black Prince, is that it was lazy and a cop out, and it but it's the ending to wrap up the story. This is what the director had in mind, and it really does wrap it up. But if we discuss it, we could be here another couple hours discussing it and what all this movie was and what it meant. So,
yeah,
there you go.
I kind of sit with Mad Matt where it was a good movie, but like, did it waffle on genre a little bit? Did it go a little too much that way, too much that way, and then try to course correct? I don't know. But that's part of the fun of the hours of discussion to be had.
Exactly. Not everybody who sees it is going to get the same reaction. I take it from the perspective of what type of movie was Adrian Lyne trying to make? What was the feeling and the story that he was trying to convey to the audience? This is the story that he wanted to tell, and this is how he wanted it to wrap up. So it doesn't mean everybody is going to appreciate it or understand it or even like it, but it is a very thought-provoking movie that if you go back and watch it a second time knowing the ending, how do these pieces fit together? And what exactly is going on? So there you go. It's kind of a little bit of everything.
Which makes sense if you view it as the entire thing we're watching. The Vietnam flashbacks is actually what's current, and just everything else is just whatever's going through his brain before he's gone. Then it kind of makes sense that your brain is just trying to fire everything off at once. So it would be going everywhere.
Right. And I think one of the poignant moments was when his girlfriend got those pictures in a bag, seemingly random.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going through the pictures. Well, what they say is your life flashes before you, before your death. Was that part of it? Was him trying to make sense of his life, all the moments of his life in picture form, and then trying to put his life together in those final moments? Very interesting. So, all righty. Well, let's take comments. Let's see. James Hellier says, I think it was heavily signposted. He was reading Camus. The subway advert said he was in hell. The torture said he had died. Yes, the twist is not that he had died. It's that the demons are really angels helping him move on. So there you go. Eric says the beginning was great. This ending is a bit lazy, but it does wrap up the story, like Sharon just said. Okay, Edward the Black Prince, it's difficult to make in your head scenario work with general audiences. Absolutely. Trying to make this appeal to everybody, you can't do it. There's no way. So I think Mad Matt had said, just stick with a genre. This is what the director came up with, a little bit of everything, and put it together to tell his story. So, yeah. Old Johnny Devick says, think I need another watch of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. This was my second go through after I jumped through it a little bit before. But yeah, even a third watch maybe, but it's one of those that I'm not going to be jumping up and down to watch it again right away.
Yeah, so. If it happens to come on, I would probably watch it again and do a bigger deep dive. Yeah, there you go, folks. Mr. Furzel over in Discord said, this was my second watch. It made a lot more sense knowing how it ended. I don't think it was pretentious, though. Lagged a little in the middle, but it clearly inspired other films and video games. Yes, that is for sure.
Yeah.
And it did. What am I thinking of? It is an inspiration for Silent Hill. So it did inspire a lot of other artwork. So yeah, so there you go, folks. Mad Matt, take Jacob's Ladder one step at a time. Miss Swift, at least I get it this time around. Still doesn't move me, but might watch it again closer. There you go. And that was my homage to having recently watched In Search of Darkness 90 to 94. Again, I thought this was very timely.
Yeah.
So yeah, Alex, what do you think? Your second time?
The second time watching it, I was honestly the second time watching it, I was looking more for the that guy actors, and I didn't have the volume this time around, which didn't help. But even without the having no volume actually kind of helped because I'm just watching it as the visual. When is he having a flashback to Nam? When is he not? And
yeah, and I'm missing that when I'm watching these, and I have to have the volume down, and I'm missing those nuances with the soundtrack, with the sound design.
Yeah.
So
like James was saying, all the music was none of the music was post 71. So
yeah. Exactly. Okay, so on with the show. Yes, hell if I know. So what's next week? Okay, folks. So yeah, I'm not going to preempt for the Oscars. I'm not going to try to scramble to find another one. So we are going to watch a 2002 thriller slash mystery. And it stars one of my all-time favorite actors, and you might all have seen it before. Insomnia.
Nice.
It's got Al Pacino, Robin Williams, who I love. And yeah, we're going to pick it up next week with Insomnia. We're going to have a little thriller, little drama. So any of you that have not seen it before, it is on a lot of the streaming platforms, so it should be readily available. If you can't find it in your location, reach out and I can help you find it. So
I haven't seen Insomnia in years. That was a good movie.
Yeah. Oh, James Hellier, I almost did 1 hour photo. 1 hour photo with Robin Williams is so unlike him, and it's another riveting movie. So yeah.
There was was it Robin Williams? There was one where he was basically an editor of people's memories.
Oh, that was that Night Watch or Night
Something?
Listener?
I can't remember if it was Robin Williams or not, but I'm remembering the last shots of it.
Yeah.
It was like an overhead shot, and it's like, well, what wait a minute. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't spoil some other movie, but
all right. So next week, Insomnia. Join us again for another riveting discussion and a fun movie.
Insomnia is excellent.
And we hope to see you next week. All right. Bye, all.
Bye, gang.
Thank you for joining us.